on their power play. So a much more dynamic team than the past. They worked hard to build a talent base, and then they brought in some very skilled players to, I think, maximize some of the other really good players that they have here. So we got to be able to handle the offensive game they put at us.
Evan Rodrigues out there today. Is he
Yep,
good to go today?
he's good. Yep.
Any lineup changes expected?
None of the Lockwood will come in for Bennett. That's it.
Detroit also has one of the top scoring blue line in the league. What kind of challenge does that present?
Just motion, motion in the offensive zone. So they'll get up the ice, but a lot of teams do. I mean, that's how we would normally drive our offense as well. But they do have motion at the top. So they get down the walls, they spread the offensive zone out very well, and they use their D on that. So just making sure you know where your guy is. You don't have to be standing beside him. You just have to know where the people are that you are responsible for, and then we've got to spend as little time in our end as we possibly can.
Obviously still very early in the season, but do these division matchups have a little extra juice?
I think so. I mean, I think everybody is aware in the Atlantic how incredibly difficult this is going to be, and there'll be good teams from the Atlantic that don't make the playoffs. So that push doesn't start in March for us. It's on now.
Bob and Nat.
Yes.
When you see, obviously a lot of teams try to activate the puck from the defense now, but is kind of the difference those teams that are the ones where they can do it for all three pairs? Is that kind of the biggest difference now in teams?
I think. Well, it depends on how. Yes, is the answer. How far back do you want to go? Because it's true.
Yeah.
When I first came in the league, you had one puck-moving defenseman and four killers. Basically, they were there to hurt. And then, if you had a luxury, you had two guys that could move the puck. And now, almost everybody on your blue line can get up and get into the play. We have Mikkola would not be considered an offensive defenseman, but he's up the ice every chance. It's almost style of player or style of play. I don't know chicken and egg which one came first, but everybody gets their D up the ice now, and if you can skate, it's the only way you can possibly get through the neutral zone is with a fourth man. You just can't do it very well. We feel that on our side, Boston probably was elite at it last year. They would hit that line with four every single time, and if you can get your D up the ice, that's the one way you probably can get through the neutral zone.
And is it something too, just kind of the type of players coming up too? It's kind of, I'm sorry, still like the chicken or the egg stuff. It's kind of where players now, defensemen, they have to be able to skate to be in that spot from the beginning now, right?
I think the days of the worst skater became goalie, the second worst skater became defenseman. When you showed up at the rink, I think they're gone now. Yeah. And you have guys that played up front that are now playing defense in the National League. Brandon Montour, it might be our best skating player. He's a defenseman. So they're now trained like that, and as styles change, and you just think of the skill level difference even in 15, 20 years, there are defensemen back there who are very skilled men who can make a really nifty plays that you just didn't see before.
Alex Lyon not playing tonight, but first time.
Oh, yeah.
I haven't had a chance to catch
No,
up
I
with
haven't
him
crossed paths, but we'll make faces at each other on the bench, I'm sure.
On that, how do you kind of remember your time with Alex Lyon, kind of the Lion King mania and all that?
Just kind of cheering for him, right? Because it wasn't an easy start when he first came in, and then sometimes a guy just needs a bit of a break. And we had this freakish schedule. We spent an entire month in Florida, which means we got all this in the middle of an NHL year. We had one road game, and it was in Tampa. We got all this practice time, and because of Spencer not being with us, he got NHL practices for a month, and his game just took off. So the next time he went back in, because there's kind of two tours of duty, the first time through kind of saved us at the end of January, but when he came back, he had settled his game now, and then he had played exceptionally well for us. So you're just cheering for guys like that, because he's a wonderful guy, and it's a bit of an underdog story, and for all of the craziness that we had going on last year, he was a major part of that story.
Someone who only sees you guys when you guys come through town, when you look at Barkov as a captain, what are the things that you kind of maybe have stood out to you, or things that maybe even you've seen grow in your time in Florida?
The first thing is not the hockey, because we all have TVs, right?
Yeah.
So we knew he was a good player. I do think that when you get on the ice with a guy, you have a far better appreciation for some of the subtle things. It's all the man's personality. He's the most humble man I've ever met. And what I think he does better than anybody I've ever seen is he makes the 13th forward and the 7th defenseman feel like they're just as important to the team as he does, because that's the way he lives. It's who he is. He is just incredibly humble, very hardworking, an unusual man, almost egoless, except he pushes himself very hard to be good. But if you get a chance to spend some time with him, the guy that you meet, you'll say, geez, maybe it's not, that's him. He is actually that nice, that kind of man, but very competitive in his own way.
Thank
Okay,
you.
guys.